Welcome, Japanese woodblock print collectors and enthusiasts. Last month I went to visit the wonderful state of Tennessee, known for its whiskey, hot chicken, and country music scene. Right near our downtown hotel, I was surprised to stumble upon the Frist Art Museum. Now that's Frist, not First. It had an exhibit called Journey Through Japan, Myths to Manga. So of course I had to visit. I'll give you an overview of the exhibit and talk about some of the beautiful ukiyo-e they had on display. The theme of the exhibit was an exploration of popular stories and how they've shaped Japan's art, design, and technology across the centuries. As you can see, there were all different types of historic and modern objects, but of course I was most interested in the woodblock prints that were interspersed throughout the exhibit. The prints we'll see were on loan from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. First off, I was happy to see that they had a lot of Hiroshige, especially fan prints. When you see these types of strange shaped prints, you can bet they were designed to be cut out and pasted to flat bamboo Japanese fans called uchiwa. These fans were sold by peddlers at roadside stalls during festivals and along the pilgrimage routes. Starting with this early fan print from 1835 called Woman and Children by the Sea. You can see they're gathering shellfish and the boys are catching a fish. I thought that the style was quite rough for Hiroshige and kind of crude, and I think that was because it was an early print for him and it was in this fan format. This much later print from 1856 is called Awa Naruto, or the Whirlpools at Awa. And you can see that even though this is made for a disposable object, Hiroshige still creates an amazingly beautiful and detailed design. Over his lifetime, he created more than 650 fan prints, but unfortunately, not many survived, since most were used on disposable fans that people would use during the hot, humid summer months. Here are a few more examples that were on display. This is Ryogoku by moonlight. Our view is from the upper floor of a restaurant looking towards Ryogoku Bridge that crosses the Kanda River near Edo's Nihonbashi district. Look at that blue gradation in the water and the expert use of perspective. This one is a Star Festival at Yanagishima. The woman is sitting in a pleasure boat and looking towards the Hashimoto, which is a restaurant on the right side. It was famous for its kaiseki, which means high-end multi-course meals. Also note that this use of a large object in the foreground, in this case the woman, foreshadowed his use of this technique in his later designs for the 100 Famous Views of Edo series. And finally, this fan print of sunrise at Susaki on New Year's Day. And apparently in this area, the sun wouldn't have risen from this angle, but Hiroshige used his artistic license to compose the scene the way he wanted it. Next, in the spirit of New Year's, we have the 7 lucky gods, or Shichifukujin, on their treasure ship, or Takarabune, also by Hiroshige from around 1840. This scene is part of traditional Japanese New Year celebrations. You are supposed to put a Takarabune woodblock print like this beneath your pillow on January the 2nd. And then if you have a lucky dream, that's a sign that the New Year will be fortunate. If you have a bad dream, you're supposed to throw the print into the river. Street vendors sold cheap woodblock prints intended just for this purpose. The last Hiroshige print I'll show you is this one from the collaborative series, The 53 Parallels for the Tokaido Road from 1845. And the series included prints by Kuniyoshi, Hiroshige, and Kunisada. It's a relatively affordable and fun series to collect. And this print is based on The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, which is a story of Kaguya Hime, who was a princess who came down from heaven. She took the form of a baby and was found by an old man inside a large bamboo stem that he was cutting. The old man took the baby to his wife and they raised her, but unfortunately her time on earth was limited and eventually she had to go back to heaven. There was a detailed triptych showing the procession of Shogun Tokugawa Iemochi crossing Nihonbashi Bridge to Edo Castle. This is by Hiroshige II, or Hiroshige II, printed in 1863. And another by Hiroshige II from the series 100 Famous Views in the Provinces. And this shows the basket ferry in Hida province that people use to cross the chasm between the mountains. And this Hiroshige party wouldn't be complete without a colorful print by Hiroshige III, or Hiroshige III, from his famous Places of Tokyo series. If you want to learn more about the three Hiroshiges, watch our video on that topic where we go into details on the lineage and compare their artistic styles. Next, I'll show you the obligatory Hokusai print from his 36 Views of Mount Fuji series called Under the Great Wave of Kanagawa. And I'm not going to go into great detail on this since I already have a couple of videos that discuss this print, but suffice it to say, it was present at the Frist exhibit. They had a fun section on yokai, or Japanese monsters, ghosts, and creepy things. The star of that exhibit was Kyosai's book of prints called Pictures of 100 Demons. It starts with a group of people telling ghost stories around candlelight. And then in the next panel, there's a man that I think is a self-portrait of Kyosai, tending a lantern. And following that comes a parade of crazy, imaginative monsters of all shapes and sizes. Kyosai was the king of these fanciful, cartoonish illustrations drawn from his imagination and Japanese folklore. This book was published after his death in 1889. We have a lot of his work on our website in case you're interested. Keeping in the fantasy theme, here's an 1855 print depicting a mother catfish chasing a mob of people who have kidnapped her 2 children. And the message on the flag suggests that they intend to grill and eat the young catfish. In those days in Japan, the folklore was that the giant catfish, or namazu, were believed to cause earthquakes. And this print said that it was done by an unidentified artist. And I read that catfish prints were rarely signed due to some form of censorship. I think this one is by Kuniyoshi, though, due to the subject matter and the drawing style. I did some research and found this other catfish print that was attributed to Kuniyoshi, and it's very similar in style. If only there was a cat hidden somewhere in the design, that would solidify it. Finally, I'll show you a couple of triptychs. The first by Kunisada of the Tanabata Festival from 1830. Tanabata is the star festival based on a Chinese legend of 2 lovers who transformed into stars separated across the Milky Way. And they could only meet once a year. During this festival, there are parades, music, dancing, and lots of Japanese street food. I like the energy of this print of these young women dancing. It's really quite a pretty design. And this triptych by Kunisada of the Japanese sun goddess Amaterasu emerging from a cave. And the backstory is that she got into a terrible fight with another god and stormed off and hid in a cave. This plunged the world into darkness. The other gods decided to have a party in front of the cave. And when she heard they were having a party, she came out to see what was happening, and they quickly sealed the opening to the cave, and light returned to the world. If you get a chance to visit Tennessee, I recommend you visit the Frist Art Museum. This exhibit continues until February the 16th, 2025. Of course, you should also enjoy Tennessee's country music scene, famous hot chicken, and whiskey. And you could probably even do that all at the same time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, happy collecting.